Hey, what's up guys? Daniel here with Woodland Acres. So just realized I haven't done a garden update video here in a while. I'm actually in the middle of cooking dinner and I was gonna come out here and see what we could pick today. Garden surprisingly is actually doing pretty good now that we're not getting a ton of hot weather. Well, I shouldn't say that. We are still getting a ton of hot weather, but it's cooler at night. We're starting to get a little bit more moisture. We actually got a good rainfall today. And the garden just actually looks a lot better than it did when it was the dead heat of summer. So here's the garden now. I'll walk up closer here in a bit and show you guys. Like I said, I'm gonna pick some stuff here. I think we got some long beans that I'm gonna pick for dinner. But everything's kind of grown into the trellises. I've kind of unfortunately given up on the tomatoes because even though they're pretty resilient, the hornworms really kind of got the best of us with the tomatoes. And we still really haven't even gotten many tomatoes, and that's probably just because I've really neglected them. Started to string them up, and then once again, we had gone out of town. Hornworms got to them. They actually started to look like they were dying off, but now they're starting to come back. So I really could clean this up a bit. Corn's kind of gone crazy. Haven't picked any yet, and then of course the pumpkin patch over there's doing pretty good, fenced off from the chickens. We'll start here. So cucumber plants, surprisingly cucumbers are still growing even though the plants sort of died off, and they were wiped out mostly by the squash bugs that kind of took over all of our zucchini squash plants. There's a kind of hanging pumpkin. I actually thought that was supposed to be a zucchini plant and ended up being a pumpkin plant. This is our lone cucumber plant, or a few lone cucumber plants. We've still harvested a few here recently. Some of you may know this. This is called it's called water spinach, or I've heard it called swamp cabbage or morning glory. That's kind of grown. We haven't really, we've harvested it once. Got some beets growing over here, melons over there. Let's step a little closer. So got some, it's growing in nicely now. I honestly don't know if this was just a hybrid because they were planted so close. I don't know what kind of melon that is, but these are obviously cantaloupe. I don't know if these are baby cantaloupe or what, but they're starting to grow in pretty nicely. These are Korean melons over here. Ooh, that one got taken out by a chicken. These are some Korean melons we got. A couple more that we can probably get harvested pretty soon here. Eggplants, a few of those grew in okay. The rest of them not so much. They're not getting too big, and of course the chickens are starting to get to them. This area is not fenced off, but yeah, we got some eggplants down in there. You can see these chickens, for a while they weren't venturing onto this black landscape fabric, but then they decided to start coming on to the fabric, and there you go. Look at this guy, he's going after the plants. And this is something I'm gonna have to do differently next year. We're gonna have to figure out a fencing situation because we can't let the chickens come in, because unfortunately we actually lost a lot of cucumbers, some melons. Of course the tomato plants are just, they'll get ravaged by the chickens. And the pumpkins, that's why that's fenced off, is because last year we lost a lot of pumpkins, and I want the kids to have some pumpkins for Halloween. So that's one thing for sure we're gonna have to do next year, is fence off these chickens. Not sure exactly if we're gonna contain the chickens somehow, or if we're just gonna fence off the entire garden area. We'll think about that later. But anyways, pepper plants, these were some mini pepper plants, and bell pepper plants just didn't really do too well. And actually I don't think we've harvested any. Surprisingly, the hornworms actually eat the pepper plants too. I wasn't aware of that, but I know my wife's picked some hornworms off of the pepper plants. Tomato plants, once again, just need some work. Got some little bells, I think they were some yellow bells. Yeah, once again, I just fully neglected it because I honestly, I just thought the tomato plants weren't gonna make it. All right, chickens, you gotta get out of here. Chickens have a buffet. So we have these banana plants, these banana trees. I don't think they're ever gonna fruit. It'd be awesome if they did, but I've always had them in a pot, kept them inside the house, but this year I put it in the ground, and it's grown really nicely out here. So I'm gonna try to keep it out here. Hopefully it stays alive over winter. All right, back at it. Here's our lemongrass, basil plant, some pepper plants we've been harvesting from that, some mint. So this is our herb garden, or one of our herb boxes here. This is our melons. Now here is, see, this year squash bugs have just been terrible, and they're all over our plants. So got the watermelons there. Ooh, you know what, the chickens are probably going to get to that if I don't fence that off. We have already lost a few watermelons. We haven't had a chance to try the watermelons yet, so I don't know how sweet or good they'll taste, but I put a fence here because I got a couple big watermelons right here. I know typically you don't trellis watermelon, but I wanted to give it a shot, and towards the late end of summer I actually started growing really well. Early summer kind of sounds like a lot of folks struggled with their garden this year. It kind of seems like that every year, I don't know, but for the most part the garden turned out much nicer than I had thought it would, given how the summer had started. I keep skipping around here. That's another herb box. Got some green onions growing over here, some more pepper plants, some cilantro that we just never really picked, harvested dill, more peppers, basil plant that just went crazy that never really got to utilize. Got some more melons over here. These melons really haven't gone to fruit. Oh, there's one. See, I don't even know. I don't know if these ended up being hybrids or what, because they're getting planted too close, but I'm pretty sure I thought this was another watermelon, another type of watermelon. The beans started dying off and they started coming back. We actually haven't harvested any beans, but the long beans might be the winner. We just can't keep up with the long beans. My mother-in-law planted these, and every day you come out, like, these are now too old, too big to even eat, but this is what we're cooking for dinner tonight. I don't know if you guys haven't had long beans. They're obviously similar to green beans, but maybe a little bit tougher in texture, slightly different taste, but you know, we just stir fry them. But you can see how we just can't keep up with the picking them. My kids usually come out here and pick them. They haven't come out here yet. Malabar spinach had a super slow start. I actually struggled with growing this. Had several seedlings that just wouldn't make it, and finally they just took off once I was able to get the seedlings growing, put them in the ground, and they really took off. Haven't been able to harvest any leaves yet, but we'll do that soon because I'm curious how it's going to taste. Some bitter melon over here. We lost one plant just recently. I don't know why, but that's why I believe those ones turned orange. It's coming from that dead plant. I don't know. I don't think it's a different species, but I've got some white bitter melon that I harvested the other day. I don't know why they're turning orange, but there's a white one. That one can probably get picked here. But yeah, bitter melon actually did all right here towards late summer. And these were the squash plants. These were 2 rows of one was yellow zucchini squash. The back side was just your regular zucchini squash. That row got wiped out from squash bugs, and these plants that are dying, I need to get those pulled out. I've already pulled some of those out, but these also got wiped out by the squash bugs. And unfortunately, any of the squash that did make it, the chickens got to it before we did. So once again, I think out of all, I mean, we had maybe 15 plus some squash plants over there. Out of all those plants, I think we maybe ate 3. We were able to harvest and eat 3 zucchini squash. The rest went to the chickens. So, and then the okra, we had 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it's supposed to be 6 okra plants. Only 3 made it, but they are producing. So every day we're coming out, and most every day. And then my kids are coming out and harvesting those. Sometimes we're even getting to them too late because they're growing so quick that they get too big, like that one there, a little too big, and can't really eat those. They get a little too tough. But we love okra. We don't really eat it often, but what we do is we wash them, chop them up, and throw them in the freezer. So we still actually have some from a couple of seasons ago. But there's, for the most part, that's the garden. It's much more full than it was in, I think, one of the previous videos that I recorded. There's a lot that I have to take away from the garden this year. I think we all kind of take away something from the garden every year. We learn from it and we do something different. This year I'm very glad that we put the fabric down, because that saved a bunch of headache with weeds and grass. I mean, if I didn't have this fabric down here, there's no way, for one, we would have been able to keep up with the garden, just because keeping up with the weeds and all that takes up so much time. So that was a definite bonus. Having the trellises up definitely helps, obviously with the different plants that need it. But the watering system also helped as well. I never really did a video on that, but I did get some irrigation lines run in, and so I had it running for about an hour every morning, every other day. For a while I had it every morning, but I cut back. And so with that really saved me the time of having to come out here and water it manually, which is what we were doing for a while. But I also think that's what helped, especially during the summer when we weren't getting a whole lot of moisture. So yeah, next year definitely gonna have to get the fencing system up around the garden. No more zucchini squash. That just produced, we just couldn't keep up with all the squash bugs, and hopefully that's not going to become a problem next year. I mean, I'm sure it will be, but I don't think we're going to grow any more zucchini. Just not worth it. But yeah, the garden's looking nice and full. Let me show you the corn. So the corn was not really an experiment, but I think I messed up in planting. I don't think I planted it close enough. So we only harvested one ear so far, or whatever I think it's called, an ear, right? We harvested one, and it wasn't fully pollinated. So what I learned this year, and I think I'm guessing it's true, is they say with corn, let me see if I can find one, all those stringy things that come out of the corn, all of that needs to be touched. Here we go. So that's dying off, so it's probably all ready to be harvested. But apparently every single strand that comes out of this corn needs to be pollinated from these here. And so it helps to apparently have the plants close to each other, but I think I did it a little too far apart, and so I don't think the corn really got as well pollinated as it should have. But I don't know, we'll find out. I'm gonna start to harvest some of this corn soon. We'll try it. Unfortunately, I think caterpillars might have gotten the best of the corn. So let me show you the pumpkin patch real quick here. Uh-oh, this fence is down. Let me get this fence real quick. Oh no! This is what I was, so we had a winter melon over here, and the chickens, great. That's not good. This is why we need to have this area fenced off. So, oh man, okay, not good. So this is a winter melon plant. Jeez, these chickens, I tell you. There's one, maybe I can get that one, I can save that one. There's another work of a chicken. These are winter melon plants. I was excited for that. My mother-in-law planted that. I should probably harvest that one while we still can. But this, once again, is why we need to fence off the chickens. Why don't you guys go after the bugs? There's a ton of bugs out there. Go get the bugs. There's bugs out there. Go get the bugs. Stay away from the garden. Okay, well, that was kind of a bummer. Seeing that, saw the winter melon the other day and I was excited for it. Now there's probably only one left that we can actually get because of the chickens. So, well, I'm gonna go pick these long beans. I've got a pot on the stove, so I can't stay out here too long, but video was longer than I had planned, sorry. Yeah, thanks for watching. That's your update on the garden. Hope everyone's been doing well. Thanks for watching.